Welcome to Fusion of the 5 Elements 1. Let's go ahead and warm up with a little crane and turtleneck. Big deep breath. Pull on your knees to arch your spine as you exhale down. Tuck in the chin as you inhale up. Breathing through the bubbling spring point in your feet. Relaxing any tension to the pull of gravity on the exhale. Inhaling fresh energy up from the earth. And tongue effortlessly pressed to the roof of the mouth for the duration of practice. Switch to turtleneck. Chin stays tucked as you exhale down. Inhaling fresh energy up. Relaxing, letting go any tension in the spine and anywhere else. On the exhale to the pull of gravity. And big deep breath. And relax. Let's begin with a little alternate nostril breathing to equalize both hemispheres of the body and brain. And we're adding awareness of this pearl that we're always working with in the center of gravity, the Bagua, which means 8 phenomena. We're going to visualize directly over the skin. So at the level of the skin, the pearl's deep inside the body, but the Bagua is at skin level, an octagon within an octagon within an octagon, connected by 8 lines at the corners, all the way into the Tai Chi symbol in the center. And as we do our pranayama, we're breathing directly into the pearl and the Bagua. So the pearl's deep in the center of the body, and the Bagua is like a satellite, helping us connect with all of the elements in nature. Bagua, 8 phenomena. So bring one hand right over the navel. Begin with a long exhale. And every breath we take through the nostrils, charging up the pearl in your center of gravity, and the Bagua, which is a satellite for it. Inhale left, exhale right. Inhale right, exhale left for 9 times. And then a big deep breath through both nostrils directly into the pearl. And hold your breath for a moment with gentle perineum power and see the Bagua spiraling clockwise, creating a vortex deep into the pearl as you hold your breath. Bagua spiraling down the left, up the right. And relax your body, exhale a sigh. And the Bagua spirals. Let it spin, and let it spin, creating an energetic vortex, just like a whirlpool, from the surface of your body, deep into the pearl in your center of gravity. And continue to smile your eye, mind, heart power to the center of the pearl, and feel the Bagua spiraling, drawing in energy to that radiant nucleus of the pearl. We're going to use this cosmic satellite dish of the Bagua to collect, fuse, and transform the elements which we experience in the most physical way as temperature, the senses, and the heart of this practice, the emotions they give rise to. Bagua, collecting, fusing, transforming, temperature, sensorial, and emotional energy. Keep your body and breath relaxed, tongue effortlessly pressed to the roof of the mouth, and smile inward to the kidneys. What does water feel like? Feel that cold, wet energy of water in the whole body and in the kidneys. And when you can feel that in the kidneys, breathe deeply the blue light of water element into the kidneys. And hold for just a moment, kidneys glowing blue, cold, wet energy, which we're going to transfer to the kidneys collection point, a blue pearl at the perineum as we exhale the kidney sound. Feel all of the cold, wet energy spiraling out of the kidneys into a blue pearl at your perineum, the collection point for the kidneys. And let that emptying of the water element, cold, wet energy from the kidneys to the perineum continue by itself. And smile into your heart. What does fire feel like? Feel that hot, dry energy in your body and in your heart. And when you feel that hot, dry energy, inhale it deeply into your heart as red light. Feel your heart glowing red as you hold your breath for a moment. Hot, red fire energy, and we're going to transfer that to a red pearl at the sternum, the collection point for the heart, with the ha sound. All the hot, dry energy in your heart shifting to a red pearl at your sternum. And let that emptying of the hot, dry energy in your heart, spiraling to the heart collection point at the sternum, continue by itself. And shift your attention to the bagua, spiraling. And we're going to allow that spiral to help build up the polarity between water and fire at the perineum and the sternum. Feel all the cold, wet energy continue to build up from water in the kidneys, collecting at the perineum. Feel all the hot, dry energy of fire in the heart spiraling into the sternum, red pearl, and let the polarity build up. Cold, wet water pearl at the perineum, hot, dry fire pearl at the sternum. And the faster the bagua spins, the more polarity builds up until it reaches a point of critical mass where they finally fuse into that bagua like a blue laser beaming up from the perineum and a red laser beaming down from the sternum, spiraling directly into the center of the bagua, so that hot and cold become equal and balanced. Perineum, sternum, equal and balanced. Water and fire, equal and balanced as the bagua spirals. And allow that fusion of fire and water to continue by itself as we smile inward now to the liver. What does wood feel like? Feel that warm, moist energy in your body and in your liver. And when you can feel that, inhale deeply into your liver, green light of the wood element. Hold for a moment, liver glowing green. And we're going to relax and let go of that warm, moist energy into the liver's collection point, a green pearl 2 inches to the right of the navel with the SH sound. Just let all that warm, moist wood energy relax into a green pearl to the right of the navel. Letting that continue by itself, we shift our attention, our inner smile, to the lungs. What does metal feel like? Feel that cool, dry energy in your body and in your lungs. And when you feel it, inhale deeply into your lungs, white light of the metal element. Hold for a moment, lungs glowing white, cool, dry energy. And we're going to shift that to the lungs collection point, a metallic white pearl to the left of the navel with the S sound. Relax and let go of all that cool, dry energy from the lungs into the lungs collection point. And let that continue by itself. The emptying of the warm, moist energy of wood to the liver collection point, the cool, dry energy of metal to the lungs collection point, and shift your attention again to the spiraling Bagua in your center of gravity, your eye, mind, heart power effortlessly connected to the Bagua as it spins, and feel that spiral build up the polarity between wood and metal, warm, moist wood energy as a green pearl to the right of the navel, cool, dry metal energy as a white pearl to the left of the navel. And feel that polarity build as the Bagua spirals until it reaches critical mass. And they fuse. Green laser from the right beaming into the Bagua simultaneously with the metallic white laser beaming in from the left. And feel that spiral in your center of gravity neutralize wood and metal so that warm, moist, cool, dry becomes equal and balanced. Right and left become equal and balanced. Wood and metal become equal and balanced in the center of the spiraling Bagua. Letting that fusion continue by itself, we smile inward to the spleen. What does earth feel like? Feel that neutral, stable energy, not hot, not cold, but neutral, in your body and in your spleen. And when you feel the stability of earth in your spleen, inhale that light deeply as yellow light into your spleen. Hold for a moment, spleen glowing yellow, feeling stable and neutral. And the collection point for the spleen is the center of the Bagua itself. So we chant the Ho sound and let all that stable energy spiral into the center of the Bagua. Relax and let go of all the neutral, stable energy in your body, in your spleen, to the center of the spiraling Bagua, feeling more stability with this entire fusion process, stabilizing the fusion of fire and water, wood and metal, and earth at the center, holding all elements. Let the Bagua spiral, let it spin, and let it spin, neutralizing the temperature in your body. Letting that continue by itself, we move into the slightly more subtle realm of the senses. Smile inward and listen inward to the kidneys. Left ear, left kidney, right ear, right kidney. What does water sound like? The greatest sound the ears like to listen to is the sound of the kidneys. When you can feel your ears connected to the kidneys, inhale deeply into your kidneys, blue light. Hold for a moment, kidneys glowing blue, and we're going to transfer that listening power with a chue sound to the kidneys collection point at the perineum. Just like you were beaming your ears down, left and right ear, equal and balanced in the center of the perineum, and all of that you hear listening from the perineum. And letting that continue by itself, the emptying of the kidneys, energy to the perineum. And smile inward to the heart, feeling the tongue connection to the heart. And the faculty of feeling. Inhale deeply into your heart, red light. And hold for a moment, heart glowing red. And we're going to transfer our awareness of the tongue and the faculty of feeling. Everything you feel, let it beam into the red collection point at the sternum with the heart sound. And let that continue by itself. All that you feel emptying to the heart collection point at the sternum. All that you hear emptying to the kidneys collection point at the perineum. And transfer your attention again to the spiraling Bagua as you inner smile and breathe into the Bagua effortlessly. And feel that spiral in the Bagua building up the polarity between listening and feeling. Ears and tongue at the perineum and sternum. And when they reach critical mass, big deep breath into the Bagua. Then as you exhale and let it spin, just like a blue laser from below, a red laser from above, they beam in to the center of the Bagua. Listening, feeling, equal and balanced. Ears and tongue, equal and balanced. Water and fire, equal and balanced. And let that continue by itself. All that you hear, all that you feel, equal and balanced. In the center of the Bagua. As you smile inwardly to the liver, connecting your eyes, left and right eye, equal and balanced in the liver. Your vision, both external and internal, we connect to the liver. And see green light in your liver as you inhale deeply into it. Smiling into the liver, seeing green radiant light in the liver. And we're going to transfer our eye power and vision with the SH sound to the liver's collection point. Shh. Relax and let go. All that you see on all levels, from the liver to a green pearl to the right of the navel. And letting that continue by itself. As we breathe into the lungs. The sense organ for the lungs is the nostrils. Left nostril, left lung, right nostril, right lung. Breathing cool, dry energy. Feel the coolness in your nostrils as the air passes through them to the lungs as white light. Long, deep breath. Lungs glowing white. And we're going to transfer that energy of breath and smell and awareness of the nostrils to a metallic white pearl to the left of the navel with the S sound. Just emptying the lungs and all that you smell and breathe to a white metallic pearl to the left of the navel, and letting that continue by itself as you transfer your awareness to the spiraling Bagua. Let it spin and let it spin, building up polarity between all that you see and all that you smell. Let it build up and let it build up until it reaches critical mass, and then inhale deeply into the Bagua. And exhale and let it spin even faster. A green laser from the right and a white laser from the left. Let them spiral into the center. Vision and breath equal and balanced. Just like a cool white mist moving through a green forest. Vision and breath equal and balanced. In the center of the spiraling Bagua. And letting that continue by itself as you smile inward to the spleen. And feel the connection of the mouth to the spleen. All that we eat physically and all that we eat subtly is our thoughts. So as we inhale deeply into the spleen, yellow light. Hold for a moment, spleen glowing yellow. We're going to transfer awareness of our mouth and all of our thoughts to the center of the Bagua itself with a ho sound. And let the Bagua spin and let it spin, and feel added awareness of stability as we bring in the sense organ of the spleen into the center of the mouth, and all of our thinking directing our mind and therefore our energy to the center of the Bagua as it spins, stabilizing all that we hear and all that we feel, becoming equal and balanced, all that we see and all that we breathe becoming equal and balanced, and all of our thoughts, positive and negative, becoming equal and balanced as the Bagua spins, collecting, fusing, and transforming our sensorial energy. Letting that continue by itself as we move to the heart of this practice, emotional fusion. Smile inward to the kidneys. Feel the cold, wet energy of water, listening inward to the kidneys, and at this level, feeling any excess cold that manifests psychically as fear. Fear, shame, doubt, all masks of fear. We smile without resistance whatsoever to any excess cold that we are experiencing as fear. Inhale deeply into the kidneys, blue light. Hold for a moment, kidneys glowing blue, and we're going to relax and let go of any fear on any level with the Chue sound to the perineum, blue pearl. Chue. Relax and let it go, giving it a place where it can be heard. So much healing comes out of listening. Relax and let go of any fear to the kidneys collection point. Letting that continue by itself, we smile inward to the heart. Feeling the heat of the fire element. And when we have too much heat, we get impatient. And when that goes unchecked, we experience cruelty. Smile into the heart, inhale, red light. And any impatience on any level, we're going to relax and let go with the ha sound to collect into a red pearl at the sternum. Any excess heat manifesting as impatience or cruelty, relax and let it go to the heart's collection point. radiant red pearl at the sternum, and letting that continue by itself. The emptying of fear into the perineum, the emptying of impatience to the sternum, and we feel the spiraling Bhagwan, our center of gravity, as we breathe and smile effortlessly into it. Let it spin, and build up the polarity between fear and impatience. Excess contraction, excess expansion. Let it build up at the perineum and the sternum until they reach critical mass, and then inhale deeply into the Bhagwa. Exhale, let it spin and attract like a blue laser beaming up from the perineum, a red laser beaming down from the sternum. Fear, impatience becoming equal and balanced and neutralized as we relax and let them go via the perineum and sternum to the center of the spiraling Bhagwa. And letting that continue by itself. Fear and impatience becoming equal and balanced as we smile inward to the liver. Negative emotions begin in the liver with anger, the most destructive human emotion. And the seed of anger is aversion, which is wanting something to stop, which is entirely lawful. But once we're beyond that moment, we want to relax and let go of the feeling of anger. So we smile inward deeply into the liver, inhaling green light into the liver. And any aversion on any level, relax and let go to the liver's collection point with the SH sound. Just letting that empty and quiet down into a concentrated green pearl to the right of the navel. And letting that continue by itself. Any tension in the liver, any excess warmth manifesting as aversion or anger, relax and let go to the pearl to the right of the navel. Radiant green wood pearl. As we smile inward and breathe inward to the lungs, white light. And when we experience too much coolness in the lungs, we feel sadness. Smiling inward to the lungs with acceptance and appreciation, the essence of the inner smile to any sadness on any level that we might be experiencing, without judgment, total acceptance and appreciation of that messenger of sadness. And we inhale deeply, white light in the lungs. Hold for a moment, lungs glowing white, and we're going to relax and let go of any tension in the lungs that might be manifesting as sadness with the S sound, transferring to a concentrated white metallic pearl to the left of the navel. Just relax and let it go. All your metal energy and all of your sadness, relax and let it go into a white pearl to the left of the navel. Letting that continue by itself, we shift attention to the spiraling Bhagwa in our center of gravity and let it spin as we smile and breathe effortlessly into the Bhagwa. And let that spiral build up the polarity between the wood and metal collection points, anger on the right, sadness on the left. Anger on the right, sadness on the left. Anger on the right, sadness on the left, until that polarity reaches critical mass. Deep breath into the Bhagwa. Exhale, let it spin, attracting like a green laser from the right, a white laser from the left. becoming equal and balanced. Anger and sadness from the wood and metal collection points. And let it spin, equalizing that energy. Digesting anger and sadness. And letting that continue by itself, we smile into the spleen. Breathing effortlessly yellow light into the spleen, which governs thinking, which becomes worry when we can't shut it off. Physical indigestion is physical indigestion, manifesting psychically as anxiety, worry, pensiveness. Any excess thinking on any level, smile to it in your spleen as you inhale deeply yellow light. Holding for a moment, spleen glowing yellow, and relax and let go of those excess thoughts to the center of the spiraling bagua with the ho sound. Relax and let go. Relax and let go. All of your thinking, relax and let it go. Creating further stability with our fusion process. Fear and impatience, equal and balanced. Anger and sadness, equal and balanced. Positive and negative thinking, excess thinking, equal and balanced. In the center of the bagua as it spins. And let it spin, and let it spin, and let it spin so fast that you feel the vortex of energy that it creates. Just like a blender, you put in all the elements and it breaks them down, fuses them, transforms them. Feel the cosmic blender of the bagua collecting, fusing, transforming all of the temperature in the body, our sensorial energy, our emotional energy, transforming it into radiant, crystal clear light. And feel that spiral all the way in, deeply into the pearl in your center of gravity like a whirlpool, empowering your pearl with this energy. The number one cause of disease in the Tao are negative emotions that we cannot process. And we are willing, especially in this practice, to relax and let them go to the center of the bagua where they can be safely transformed, and we can utilize that powerful energy to empower our pearl, which represents our soul body. Relax and let go as the bagua spirals into a vortex, collecting, fusing, transforming elemental, sensorial, and emotional energy. And let that pearl in your center of gravity, if it's not already spiraling, let it begin to spiral, this time down the front and up the back, same direction as the orbit. And gently tighten your perineum and tuck in the tailbone and let it spiral down to your perineum. And the final phase of fusion as we take this concentrated pearl around the microcosmic orbit to circulate this powerful energy via the orbit to all parts of the body and brain. Keep your eye, mind, heart power, your breath and totality of awareness effortlessly connected to the radiant nucleus of the pearl as it spins from your perineum slowly, vertebrae by vertebrae, up your coccyx into your sacrum, slowly up each lumbar vertebrae, till it reaches the thoracic vertebrae, relaxing any tension in the spine, letting that also dissolve and transform into the nucleus of the pearl, further empowering your soul body, energy body, astral body, all synonymous in the Tao. Let it slowly spiral up each thoracic vertebrae till it reaches your cervical vertebrae relaxing any tension in the neck, mixing the blood and the chi and all of your spine till it reaches the base of the brain, slowly spiraling through all the layers of the brain till it reaches the crown, and then down from the crown, nice and slow like a mohawk, through the center of your head down to mid eyebrow level, dissolving any residual sensorial tension, left and right eye, left and right ear, left and right thinking, equal and balanced in the pearl as it spins. All food for our soul body. Tongue pressed to the roof of the mouth, the pearl spins down through the throat, through all of the organs and endocrine glands in the front ren line, mixing the blood and the chi in our organs and endocrine glands. Until the pearl reaches the perineum again for one round of the microcosmic orbit. Let's go ahead and just do a few more of those. We usually do 9 rounds of the orbit. If that's too fast for you, just go at your own pace. We'll just take a few quiet moments now to circulate this energy through the microcosmic orbit, overflowing to all parts of the body and brain. As you inhale the pearl up the spine, and exhale it down the front of the body. Heat rises up the spine. Water falls down the front. Fire, water, yin and yang, equal and balanced. And that powerful, fused energy overflowing to all parts of the body and brain. Keep your eyes and your mind and your breath in totality of awareness effortlessly relaxed to the radiant nucleus of the pearl as it spins. The nucleus of the pearl spins directly along the meridian. So half the pearl's inside, half the pearl's outside, mixing the blood and the chi along each point it spirals. And after 9 or more revolutions, as guided by inner authority of your inner sage, which the pearl represents, return the pearl to your center of gravity, and we're going to spiral and collect this energy. From the nucleus of the pearl, we spiral clockwise, down the left and up the right, as the pearl expands so we can gather all the energy in our body. And then 9 times counterclockwise as the pearl contracts, concentrating, collecting all the energy in our body. 9 times counterclockwise. And then we inhale deeply into the nucleus of the pearl and tone from the nucleus of the pearl a long Tai Chi, requesting the life force be with us, overflowing to all affected by our actions. Tai Chi. Thank you for joining me for that practice. I'd like to offer you a few practice points now that you can carry into your cultivation that will help you practice this optimally. First of all, if you read Fusion 1, Transforming Negative Emotions, which I do recommend, it's also in Basic Practices of the Universal Healing Tao, you'll notice there's 9 formulas within Fusion 1. There's technically 3 levels of fusion. Fusion 1, 2, and 3. Just within Fusion 1, there's 9 formulas. We just went through the first 4. Once you get to the 5th formula and after that, we're actually doing the soul bodybuilding, where you take this pearl now and you project it out of the crown and you systematically transfer your consciousness to it. This is where all of the immortality cultivation comes from. Be aware that in the original lineage brought to us by Grandmaster Montauk Chia, those soul bodybuilding formulas did not happen until you got to Kan and Li, which is the formula after fusion. Fusion, all of them, 1, 2, and 3, is the 3rd formula in his lineage. The 4th formula is Kan and Li, and lesser Kan and Li, greater, greatest, that's 4, 5, and 6. From that point forward, it's all the immortal cultivation. Most people don't have the attention span for that. And Master Chia found, after decades of teaching this, that people were never getting to the soul body building consequently. So he included them, those techniques, in the Fusion 1 formula, which I'm very grateful for, because by the time I got to Kan and Li, it was easy breezy. So the heart of fusion is what we just did, the first 4 formulas, transforming what we call the postnatal energy, essentially the tension we accumulated from this lifetime and from each day. Okay? And even deeper, you can use this formula to transmute prenatal and ancestral stuff. We get a little deeper into that in Kan and Li, but in particular, it's the day-to-day tension, again, number 1 cause of disease, negative emotions that we pick up that we can't let go of. And it's just like you had a bad day and you want to tell somebody to help discharge that energy. And that's why psychotherapists have some of the highest rates of suicide. So much healing comes out of listening, and when we simply direct our attention, connecting the senses to each of their organ, listening, kidneys, feeling, heart, the organs are like, oh, you're listening to me, sure, I'll relax that energy. We usually wait for that from somebody else, and we vent it on them, and then they got it now. That's why we don't like to listen to complainers. That's discharge of negative energy. So I use this a lot even when I'm holding space for people. There's just a spiraling little satellite dish of a bagua helping me transmute all of that. Okay? So, the first 4 formulas of fusion is what we just went through. The first one is just setting up the bagua in your center of gravity and letting it spin. Okay? Now, what you're seeing on these 2 fusion posters is the full postnatal bagua, which the old way to spell it was P-A-Q-U-A, but modern pinyin it's B-A instead of P-A, bagua, but it's the same thing. And that's Kan Li Jun Tui, Kan Li Jun Tui, Kun Ken Sun Chen. That's a little more advanced, holding on to the specific trigrams. We get to that in Fusion 2, or what Master Chia later called Cosmic Fusion. Very powerful working with that. All of Taoist technology is contained in this symbol. It's pre-Chinese culture. It's so old, okay? The big abbots and the famous monasteries in China actually think it's off-planet. It's so old. You would have had to observe nature for so long to come to the conclusions that the I Ching and the Bagua comes to. So this is not Chinese, it's Taoist. Okay, modern Taoism is so infused with Buddhism and Confucianism, it's hard to get pure Taoism nowadays. That's what attracted me to this lineage, okay? But you don't necessarily, especially in the beginning, have to hold on to all these trigrams. And this is 3 of them, by the way. This is 3 Baguas all in one. So is this. It's just smaller, you can't see it. In the beginning, we're just using 1. We're just using literally like a stop sign, within a stop sign, within a stop sign, okay? 3 octagons, connected by 8 lines at the corners, connecting to a Tai Chi symbol at the center. It's basically all the heaven trigram, just straight solid lines. Okay? You visualize that, and then you let it spin. Now, the alternate nostril breathing is not specifically Taoist. It's traditional yogic, but I find that such a powerful, quick way to instantly equalize both hemispheres of the body and brain, yin and yang, equal and balanced. I always begin my meditation with that. Okay, so whether you're using that or just regular breathing, I recommend doing a little of the bellows breathing like we did, breathing right into the bagua, right into the pearl, and then you take that deep breath and hold and exhale and let it spin. And once the bagua starts spinning, you don't have to hold on to the image of it. Some people even practice fusion with different symbols. Like I've seen Jewish healing Tao instructors use the six-pointed star. I've seen people use the cross that were Christian, because once it spins, it just becomes a vortex. But I've played with some of those other symbols, and for this method, I recommend the bagua because it's perfectly aligned to what we're doing, okay? With the organs and so forth, but it is up to you. Once you spiral it, it's just going to become a vortex, so that's your call. But my recommendation is the bagua. It's totally neutral. There's no religious overtone there. These are the forces of nature. I know water exists. I know fire exists. I know earth exists, right? Okay? So that's fusion 1, spiral the bagua, the fusion 1-1, you could say, dividing into 9 formulas. Now, what I showed you today was an abbreviated fusion 1-1. I showed you 1 bagua in the belly, okay? If you actually look at this poster right here, it's a kind of small image, but I'll describe it. You have a bagua on the front, back, left, and right of the body, okay? So fusion 1 technically is just spinning the bagua on the front, back, left, and right. So you do the exact same thing as you just, I recommend starting with 1, because if you, which is why I taught it that way, if you just jump to 4, the attention is scattered in so many places, it's really hard to feel the fusion, in my experience of teaching this for decades to people, okay? And sometimes even in my own practice, when I want to be ultra chill, I'll just feel 1. But for the most part, now it's effortless for me, I do use 4, because you're going to do the same process on all 4 sides of the body. Okay, so in the case of fusion 1, for example, we just did some bellows breathing, breathing into the pearl in the center of gravity. Well, then you take that deep breath and hold, and you feel the pearl begin to spin. The best explanation I heard from Master Chia on this was that central pearl is the sun. And the baguas are like planets. So you're doing the bellows breathing, charging up the central pearl, deep breath and hold, now it spins. That is the spin in the central pearl, in the center of your body. The baguas are on the surface of the body. So the central pearl spin creates the spin in the bagua, just like the spiraling sun creates the spin of the planets. We're spiraling around the sun, okay? So it's all about just that effortlessly relax into that central pearl, let it spin, which we're always working with. And that is the spin that creates the spiral of the bagua, whether you're using 1 or 2 or 4. So I usually, what I recommend is start with 1, go through fusion 1, 2, 3, and 4, just like we did today. The first one, you just let the bagua spiral. Second part, fusing temperature. Third part, fusing senses. Third part, fusing emotions. I recommend doing all that with 1 bagua. Then, when you're totally effortless with that, and you don't have to think about each one, unconsciously competent, you add the bagua in the back, and you do the same thing for the back. Now you have 2 baguas, and you repeat the exact same thing for the first bagua. You just let it spin, and then you let the back one spin, okay? And for the back, the collection point is the sacrum. So in the front, it's the perineum. In the back, it's the sacrum. So then you start in the front. You empty all, let's say we're just doing the senses, all the cold, wet energy to your perineum, all the hot, dry energy to your sternum. Okay, they fuse. All the warm, moist energy of wood on the right, all the cool, dry energy on the left, they fuse, and then stable earth in the middle. Great, I just did all 5. Now you basically just feel that. Sometimes if I'm in a pinch, I just feel what I feel from that in the back. Okay, I feel it. But if you want to take more time with it, kind of manual transmission, stretch out the gears. High performance sports cars are manual transmission. You can, go a little deeper with it. You do the same thing. Cold, wet energy, the sacrum. Hot, dry energy, the point between the wings of the heart, the scapula. You empty that. And then same thing, right and left, just a point directly opposite the wood collection point, same on the back, metal, same on the back, and then earth right in the middle. Okay, so you just feel that in the back, okay? So then you go through fusion 1, 2, 3, and 4, sensorial, elemental, sensorial, emotional energy on the front, on the back. Totally comfortable with that. Great, I'm using 2. Then I would add the next 2 simultaneously, so now you got a full 4, okay? Now, the most important thing is regarding the Bagua, when you add 4 of them, is they're spiraling in opposite directions, okay? So you get the counterforce. The easiest way I found to do that, so your mind isn't going in so many directions and diffusing everything, diffusing your fusion, okay, is you have a Bagua here. You always, first, last, and always, the front one. And imagine just like a breath of, you know, energy or the wind, so to speak. It moves this way. That Bagua is going to start spinning this way, and if it just wraps around your body this way on the top edge of the Bagua, this one's going to spin this way. This one's going to spin this way. This one's going to spin this way, the back one, which would be opposite from the front one, and this one's going to spin this way. So if you just feel that like a quick whirlwind of energy, they're going to be going the right direction. But if you ever get confused, just opposite. Clockwise in the front, and this one is going, the front one's going to the left, which is clockwise, the back one's going to the right, which is counterclockwise, boom. This one's going backward facing, this one's going frontward facing, okay? This is why we don't start with all 4, and even explaining it, it's kind of heady, but once you play with it a while, you'll feel it, as Master Chia has long maintained, and I found it to be accurate. It takes about a year to really feel each formula, okay? So you're doing smile, sounds, orbit, great, year. Sexual practice, second formula, great, a year. Third formula, fusion, great, a year. And this, as far as I'm concerned, is where the rubber hits the road. That's why I call this the launch pad of immortality. I do the whole lineage essentially every day. That's essentially the 9th and final formula, which can only be given by the Tao, is all of them happening at once. I just live there, okay? But it took me a while to go up that stairway to heaven to feel them all so succinctly. And fusion is the one where, again, postnatal stress, we have so much of it. And all the EMFs, I mean, there's so many layers to things we need to digest and break down. And some of the higher instructors that know this material, they just want to work on the higher formulas, and you can see, not most of them, but some of them, some of the ones that are a little more fiery, who will remain nameless, they just want to do the higher formulas. No, I don't need the fusion, I'm past that. And then they get really, you can see their emotional energy gets a little out of whack. So that I really find this formula to be worthy of our focus, okay? So we're clear. Fusion 1, the first part, Fusion 1-1, is just spiraling the Bagua. You start with 1, then you do all the fusion, temperature, senses, emotions, then you add a second Bagua, same thing, and then you add the side Baguas. Now, a real quick word on that. The collection points for the sides are, for the cold, wet energy of kidneys, you empty tear, hip. So I do both of those simultaneously. It's just easy to feel. So all the cold, wet energy, right and left to the right and left hip. All the hot, dry energy of fire to the armpits. Those are the collection points on the sides of the body. And then to the left and to the right of the Bagua again. Wood and metal. Warm, moist, cool, dry. To the left and to the right of each side. And then earth in the middle. Same. Okay. So there you have it. That's how to work with the 4 Baguas, okay? And then you can just, if you're going real quick, I'll just do it like we did today, where I do everything in one Bagua, and then I just visualize them being duplicated on the back, left and right, and I just, whatever I'm feeling here, I just feel that on the back, feel that on the right, feel that on the left. Right and left. But if you're, again, taking more time, you can really feel the collection points. Hip and armpit on the left and right for fire and water, and then the wood and metal just alongside that, and then in the back it's the sacrum and behind the heart for fire and water, okay? And you do the fusion, emptying all your temperature into the Baguas, your senses into the Baguas, and then the heart of this practice, the emotions, into the Baguas. And then you let it spin, let it spin, let it spin, and just like a whirlpool, and if you're using 4, now you have 4 whirlpools. So you have the whirlpool spiraling in front, back, left, and right. But always remember, what Master Chia said. I had been practicing fusion for like 15 years when he said this, and it was just like a brand new practice all of a sudden. It was so helpful because there's so many spirals going on. When you see fusion too, cosmic fusion, he's got bagwas all over the body. But just remember, it's all from the central pearl spiral. That is the sun that creates the spiral in this galaxy, you could say. So you just let the pearl spin in your center of gravity, and that creates a spiral in 1, 2, or 4 bagwas. So if the central pearl is the sun, the bagwas are the planets, the collection points are the moons of the planets. Okay? So everything is spiraling from the central pearl. It spins, creates the spin in the bagua, it creates the spins from the collection points. Okay? If you are going to use one bagua like we did today, it's spiraling clockwise. What I generally will do, especially if you're just beginning this, is the central pearl is also spiraling clockwise. So you're not having to hold on to different directional spin at once, okay? So you're just doing the bellows breath to charge up the pearl. Deep breath and hold. That central pearl starts to spin clockwise, and the bagua is spinning clockwise with it. So it's a whirlpool. The bagua, the whirlpool, and the central pearl are all spiraling clockwise, okay? Down the left, up the right. You can, when you use all 4 bagwas, what Master Chia recommends is now that pearl is spinning just like the rings around Saturn, okay, this way. So from the left to the right, because then you're connecting all 4 bagwas, okay? So the front bagua is spinning clockwise, the back one's spinning counterclockwise, left and right, counterforce, and the central pearl is spinning like this, okay? So it just takes time. Remember, it takes time to feel all these. That's why Zen was just like, forget all this. Little soundbite of Tao, little soundbite of Buddhism, we got Zen. Okay, and you can get transformation. There's no judgment there, but it was just like Chia, his family, they were all Christian missionaries. They were like, just in case this story was like, you know, adulterated or whatever, I just want my own relationship with the life force, okay? It's just like learning a language. What level of access do you want? Okay, so that's why I taught this. Just one bagua, it's all spinning the same, but I'm just letting you know where it can go. Okay, all the bagwas are spinning in counterforce, and then this pearl you can spin from the left to the right if you're using all 4. You don't have to use that spin. You could just keep this pearl spinning the same direction as the front bagua, whatever you like. A lot of times I'll have this pearl spinning in the direction of the orbit the whole time. But the reason I do like it horizontally if I'm going to use all 4 is because I can feel them all 4 connected. Okay, so I'm just giving you some sound bites to play with. Don't over-control the chi. Try to make it do what you want it to do. Just invite it to spin that way, but then relax and let go and see what the life force communicates to you. Okay? One other quick thing, this will probably be a good closing detail, is a very simple meditation you can use with this or totally independent of it, is the silent repetition in sync with your breath of the words Tai Chi. Because Tai Chi is a practice of physical movement, but it's also a very, very, very powerful sonic mantra, you could say, a sonic yoga practice, which all the higher magic and everything is all based on you have this process where you charge up the elements and you feel all this, and then you just chant a word or a seed syllable or a phrase or whatever, in this case Tai Chi, and you program that process to happen just with that word. Okay? So the simple way to use Tai Chi independent of all this is you just sit there and you inhale. And as you inhale in your mind, you say Tai. Then as you exhale, you say Chi. Because that helps tie the Chi to you, okay? There's a lot of layers to that when you study the cosmology of the Tao, okay? In this practice, because the Tai Chi symbol is at the center of the bagua, I use that sound of Tai Chi anytime I need to stabilize the spiraling of the bagua. I didn't include it today because I didn't want it to be too cerebral and bring your mind in too many directions, but as I begin this practice where I'm doing the bellows breath, okay, and then that to charge up the pearl and the bagua, and then I take the last deep breath and hold, And then I exhale, and the pearl starts spinning. From that point forward, my breathing, I'm inhaling Tai, exhaling Qi for usually a few rounds just to help build up the momentum of the spiral and the Bagua. And anytime I need to stabilize that, I inhale Tai, exhale Qi, like when we're emptying all the water to the perineum and all the fire to the sternum, and then we shift our attention back to the Bagua to build up the polarity between water and fire. Then I'll just be like Tai Chi, Tai Chi, Tai Chi until it's like so fast. And it's just like lovers, you know? Yeah, you could just walk up to your partner and just do it, right? You could just fuse. But if you let the polarity build up a little bit, basically like foreplay, by the time you get to that bed of the earth element that holds all elements, right? That's the bed where the fusion happens. If you let the polarity build up, okay, water's cold, fire's hot, got it. Listening, feeling, yes, feel that polarity. Fear and patience, excellent, I feel those, because those are polarized. Totally polarized. Fear is excess cold and patience is excess hot on a psychic level. It's basically our emotions communicating to us, you got too much cold, you got too much hot. Okay, we like, oh, emotions, but this is the way to skillfully, wait a minute. When I got really into this practice, and it's never stopped, I do it every day, people were like, dude, are you an android? Because they couldn't get an emotional response out of me. And I feel emotions just like everybody else, but I don't hold on and identify and just sit there and focus. Yeah, I'm so angry because of this. People identify with their negative emotions. And they're very powerful messengers, but I also do want to be skillful in relaxing and letting them go, because they're not good for us to hold on to. They're not. Okay? So like anger, the most destructive human emotion, 5 minutes of anger is hours of weakened immune system function. It's like the famous saying by the Buddha, being angry is like drinking poison and hoping someone else dies. So sure, there's plenty of things in the external environment that I want to stop. But I'm not going to sit here and just focus on how angry it makes me, because that's not going to help me. Anger is the wind that blows out the lamp of the mind. So if I can fuse that energy, be concentrated with it, now it works for me. It's like in the 6 healing sounds, we're doing the sounds, relaxing, letting go to the pull of gravity. We're just letting go of the motions. Well, now we're doing the same thing with the sounds. You can do this practice hyperspeed, by the way, without the sounds. I can do all of fusion just super quick. Just feel the Bagua spiraling. That's when you read the fusion book, you're going to see later, like once you go through 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way up to 9, the 9th formula, you just feel the Bagua spin and you just feel it. Feel all your temperature, balance. All your senses, balance. All your emotions, balance. Right now it's manual transmission for a while, but after a while, it'll just be real fast, okay? So now, instead of releasing those negative emotions to the earth, you're releasing them to your Bagua, trusting this cosmic super symbol to transmute it. Okay? And you may have noticed that when I did the sounds, I had my eyes closed. Oh my God, we're supposed to have our eyes open for the sounds. Yes, you are. In my experience and practice, I find it easier to direct them internally when the eyes are closed. Because when the eyes are open, it's like chi flows where the mind goes, and that's why we generally close our eyes when we do meditation, so the senses and therefore our life force comes back to ourself. When you're releasing the negative emotions, you keep the eyes open. Senses are the 5 thieves, so when the senses are open, the energy goes with it. So you close your eyes, you bring it back to yourself. But now we're releasing the tension in our organs, manifesting as negative emotions inside. So that's why I keep my eyes closed when I'm doing the sounds with fusion. Okay? So there's so many ways to practice this. I mean, so many ways, but what I've given you today is a very solid foundation to get familiar with this language that Qigong is, a language of energy. It's all spirals within spirals within spirals. And this practice is just invaluable for helping us with the heart of being human, which is the emotional experience. So I very much appreciate your willingness to dial into what I wouldn't call a complicated practice, but it is detailed. So go through it and just take your time and see how you feel. But it is my highest honor to share this with you today. And I thank you very much for your presence. My friends, practice well and be well.